So now we can start discussing, or we can talk about your interview experience, like the number of rounds and duration of rounds. We can start talking about these things mainly. So before that, do you remember the number of students who were shortlisted for the interview?
Yes.
For profiles, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. For this design engineer profile, there were nearly 40 students that were shortlisted, and out of 40, only 4 were selected.
Yes.
And yeah, and for the software profile also, there were around 50 students.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Yes. So in your profile, 40 students were shortlisted for the interview, and finally 4 students got the offer.
Yes, right.
Yes, Akshay. So Akshay, now we can discuss about your interview experience. I think that would have been the most crucial part of your placement journey, for Xilinx at least. So if you could tell us in detail, like the number of rounds and the focus of each and every round. Yeah.
So there were basically 2 rounds, and one was the technical, and another was the HR. I would say a mixture of HR and technical. So first round was pure technical, and it started from the basic question and took me to the depth. And yeah, so interview lasted for around 30 minutes, and it started with my brief introduction, and then he moved on to the project, MTech project that I have done, and he was quite enthusiastic to know about my project that I am doing, since I was doing in device reliability. So he was relating it to some kind of FPGA's work and how it can be helpful for improving the FPGA performance and all. So yes, after this he was just curious to know whether I had done some digital domain things or not. So he asked me about the courses which I have taken that are relevant to the digital profile. So I told him about the courses which I had taken, like VLSI design, design lab, processor design, and in my undergrads I had taken digital integrated circuits and VLSI testing. So these courses I had taken, and he looked like okay, he was satisfied with the courses that I had done. So after that, he moved on to he asked me that whether I know object-oriented programming languages or not. So I told him that I have some idea about the Java and Python. So he told okay, and then he asked about, do you know Verilog? So I was glad that because I knew it. So I told him yes, definitely. So he started testing the Verilog, and he gave me some basic questions like what's the difference between blocking and non-blocking statements, and how do you write a code, how do you put the modules together. So like that he started with the basic questions. After that he moved on to he said me to make a NAND gate which is 4 input NAND gate, and that should be coded in Verilog. So I just wrote a small snippet and told him that this way I would make a NAND. Then he told, okay, very good. Then he made a small change in the code. The code contained an always block, and always block has a sensitivity list in it. So okay, so there are 4 inputs within the sensitivity list, and he asked me that I take out the one of the inputs from the sensitivity list. So how will the new circuit look like? So this was a kind of little tricky question for me. I tried to answer the question, but unfortunately I couldn't answer the question. I told that latch will be generated. Then he asked me, where will the latch will be generated? In which part of the circuit will the latch be generated? So I tried to do that, but unfortunately I couldn't give the answer. So he gave me 2-3 minutes, and after that he told, okay, let's move on to the another question. So then he gave me another Verilog question, and basically told about how to write a random number generator using a Verilog. So I tried to make some code, but he didn't look satisfied with that. He told, can you do it in some other way? So I took 2-3 minutes, and I told, sorry, I cannot do it. So he was like, okay, no problem. Then he gave me some memory based question, like there is a memory, and it has several locations in it, and there is a read write problem within the memory. Like if I ask the memory to write in the 1000 location, it will go and write on the 1000 location, but when I ask it to read from the 1000 location, he will read from the 2000 location instead of 1000. So this is a read write problem in the memory. So how I am going to rectify this problem?
Okay.
So I gave some kind of answers. I made it of my own, and he told me, okay, what else can you do? What else can you do? So I gave 2-3 solutions, and at last I told that I am out of solutions and I cannot say more. So he was like, okay, that's just a problem. And after that, he told me that, do you know basic digital questions, and how far, what is your experience in the digital domain? So I told him that I had done some projects in the Verilog in my undergrads, and also I have done my internship in the DRDO, and that too in Verilog. So he was quite impressed with that, and he told, okay, now the interview ends. So it was like the ending of the technical part of the interview. So yeah. So I would say it was mainly focused on the Verilog part, and he wanted to know how much knowledge I have of the hardware part of the VLSI.
It seems as if you appeared for the interview yesterday only. You remember each and everything in great detail, and remember also the various parameters which the interviewer tweaked. So you remember each and everything, and I really enjoyed it as if remember everything.
Thanks a lot.
So that way, this first round got concluded. Yes, and then there was the HR round.
Yes, that was the second round of the HR. There were almost like 6 people in the panel,
Okay.
and one was HR, and rest 5 people were like the existing employees or some ask for some technical stuff. So it was basically a mixture of HR and technical. So she started by my brief introduction, and it was a little surprising for me because I told about my introduction, and as always, people say about their hobbies and all in the introduction. So I also said the same, but there was a person in the panel, and he asked me that, okay, you like guitar, you like riding bicycle. These are your likings. So what do you dislike? So I didn't expect this question. So I gave a very plain answer that if I do not perform well in the task which I am given, then I feel disappointed. So this is a thing which I dislike. So he looked quite impressing with that answer, but that came just from inside out of my mind. So I had not prepared this answer. And after that, he told, okay, you are disliking, sir. Okay. Then after that, HR one asked me about what things I had done in the lockdown period.
Okay.
Because it was such a long time sitting at the home. So, and academics was also disrupted at that time. So what all things you do? Then I told him about the ISCP that I had joined, and the responsibility that I had taken as a department coordinator. And apart from that, I told her about the projects that my MTP project. Actually, it started quite early in the month of mid of April, you can say. It started at that time only. So I told her about the project, early start of my project. So she looked happy with that. And yeah, and there was one more a humor moment that happened at that time. The technical interview that happened for me, the other person who was taking my interview, he had just turned off his video.
Okay.
Yeah. So my whole technical interview was I was looking at myself and speaking the answers. So in the HR round, he suddenly came up with his video on and asked me, who took your technical interview? Since I didn't know him by face and it was a Zoom call, so I didn't know who asked me that question. Since there were six people and only 4 icons are coming in the top of the Zoom call, so it suddenly I thought, I don't know who is asking the question, but he's asking who took your technical interview. So I just remembered his initial part of his name, and I told him that. Then he suddenly turned on his video and told that I took the interview. So it was quite humorous moment for me and those other. Everyone was laughing. So, and everyone at my home were feeling like I am talking to some of my friends and having a video call. I was so much laughing, and they were also so much laughing and supporting. So it was like good. You can say it was less interview and more of a talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, there was another person in the panel, and he went to my MTP project and asked me about the very basic questions that everyone would think would neglect. Like I had some experimental data, okay, with which I do some stuff. So he asked me that, where did you get this experimental data from? So I told that it is a kind of foundry data from fabrication lab. Then he asked me, but where is that fabrication lab? So I had some of the basic knowledge that it was from US, from somewhere. So I told that fabrication lab name and the things like that. So he was like, okay, you have you know some of the basic things. So it was like that. And he asked some more in detail about my MTech project which I was doing. So this was some of the initial part, and after that they asked me some of the very basic digital questions, like there is a flip flop, there is with asynchronous reset and a synchronous reset. So which one would you prefer and why? So I told some of the answers like that, but it was I gave some not very good answer, means it was moderate answer. He said, okay, what else can be the reason of choosing? So I told some of the answers, and he didn't seem much satisfied with that, but it was okay answer. Then I also told them about the cadence interview that I had gone just before the Xilinx interview. So because Xilinx interview got delayed because I was already undergoing a cadence interview. So they asked me that, why did you come late? Okay. So I told them that my cadence interview was going on, so I had to come late. So they asked me then, what is your criteria? Are you going to prefer cadence or are you going to prefer Xilinx? So it was a tricky question for me. So I told them I am going to prefer Xilinx since I have more love for Xilinx. Then they told me why there is more love for Xilinx. And so I told that since my BTech third year, I have been working with Xilinx products, Xilinx FPGA, and even in the MTech, I have undergone the things, the Vivado, there is a tool by Xilinx, so I have been using it extensively. So I told that these are the reasons that I like the most. So that they told that, okay, very good. So after that, they asked me that, do you have any hands-on experience with FPGAs? So I told them, yes, I had used some Xilinx board, Basis 3 boards, and also I have done some work on Altera board. That is a Intel company. Yeah. So then they asked me counter question on that. Which one do you prefer, Xilinx or Altera, Intel Altera? So, so I told definitely Xilinx. Then they told, no, don't be biased because the Xilinx interview is going on. Tell from your heart, why do you think that Xilinx board is better than Altera board? So I didn't get anything in my mind, and I just told, just by looks, I say Xilinx is better than the Altera board. So they were quite amused by that, and everyone started to laugh that just by looks I am saying that board, Xilinx board is looking better. So then they told, okay, what about the performance? Would you say that in terms of speed, which one is better? So I thought that they are trying to fix me. So I told that, see, in terms of performance, I haven't compared both the things because I had the Xilinx experience in my undergrads, and I just run the things and saw the result. That's it. Yes. And in the MTech also, I just run the results and saw the results. That's it. I didn't compare both the things by running the same code and seeing the performance. So I cannot comment on that. So they told that, okay, it's justified. And like that, the things continue. Then they asked me about whether how to configure an FPGA, how to work an FPGA, what are the steps when you do while running the some tool for the FPGA. Like that things they asked. And after that, okay, the interview is kind of finished. So do you have any questions for us? Yeah. So I asked them about how is the life at Xilinx, and what is a typical day looks like of a design engineer at Xilinx. So some of them told me about their life, and one of the most person was there. So he told me like we can just tell the experience, but you will get another experience when you join the company because experience is different for every person. So yes, I told okay. Then I asked another question, and she was actually they were running out of time, but still I asked one more question about the merger of Xilinx and AMD.
Okay.
So I asked him that what effect would it give on the employees of Xilinx. So they told me that you are the owner of Xilinx and I am the owner of AMD, and we both have merged. So what do you think will change? So so I told them, okay, since you are a very brilliant person and I am going into that stage, so performance will get multiplied. So he told that yes, that's the answer. So like that the interview ended. And yeah, it was kind of very casual and a very funny type of, it doesn't feel like it was an interview. It was like a very nice talk going on with some persons.
Yeah, definitely. I am amused by this experience that you were having normal, normal chit chat type of things going on. That you are having a normal conversation and you some dialogue is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a very formal interview.
No, exactly. It was kind of humor. My parents were saying that why were you doing a video call during an interview session? I was saying it was the interview going on.
Yes. Yeah, I
Yes.
didn't want to think like that. I didn't want to think like that because in the interviews time are very, very stressful, and we are like wearing a very formal attire,
Yeah.
and then you start laughing. So
Yes, exactly.
yes, Akshay. So I guess you have covered everything in great detail, and those who will be watching this video in the upcoming days, they will get, I think, a thorough idea, like what Xilinx expects from the students and how they can prepare for the upcoming placements.
Yeah.
So yes, Akshay. So Akshay, we can talk a bit about other aspects, like in during your interview, did they ask anything about your academic gap?
No, no. And I had given almost 3 interviews, and none of them asked about my academic gap. Yeah.
Okay, great. And before we start discussing about POR, so we can talk a bit about this online and offline interview. So as we all know that this was a very first placement season, which was being conducted in completely, online mode. So
Yes.
what are your, takeaways or some advice you would like to give on this online interview mainly? Like
Yeah.
what one should keep in mind while attempting any online interview?
Yeah. First thing is we must not think in a negative way about the online, because yes, there are negatives, but you should remain positive. That you should think like, okay, even if it is online, it's an interview and it's for you, it's for your life, it's for your career that's going on. So you must not think like it's the online thing, everything will get ruined, or you know you are losing your patience like waiting in front of a screen. So first of all thing is you should not think in that way. Another thing is like you should be properly dressed from up to down, not just like half of that shirt on and below shorts. So this should not be the thing, because attire is something that gives you a feel. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So you should feel like you are giving an interview, not like you are sitting in a home and relaxing on a sofa. So it should not be like that. So you should maintain a good seating, good attire, and having positivity in your mind. So I would say, yeah, this should be the things that needs to be done while giving an online interview.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Yes, Akshay. So Akshay, now we can talk a bit about your POR and in fact importance of POR. So as we know that you are a department coordinator for the ISCP, and ISCP has really been helping students during their journey at IIT Bombay. Like I know about mentor mentee program. So these things have definitely helped students. And so if you could tell us a bit about this POR and how this POR has helped you in your placements, and maybe we would also like to know about this ISCP a bit if you could tell us a bit about that as well.
Okay. So yeah, ISCP is basically a program that is running for the the new entrants, new MTech entrants, basically, so that we can help them of the things, because IIT Bombay is vast. It's like an infinity word. So
Yes.
so new entrants definitely cannot know each and everything, or even a small bit of the things in a very easiest way. Okay, so there are some mentors assigned to them for a group of people, let's say 10 people. A mentor is assigned to them, and he tells them about each and everything, every small problem that they face, and which courses to take, which courses to deny, and which how the problems can be encountered, whom to contact. So such kind of things can be are addressed with the help of this ISCP program. And I being the department coordinator for that, so I had some bigger responsibility. Like I had to manage a team of 19 people. Those are called student companions. So apart from this, I had to be in frequent contact with the overall coordinators and the other department functionaries, so that the things can go, the information can flow in a smooth way. Like it's an online semester, so the challenge was much bigger, because everyone was facing online for the first time. Not just me, not just you, even every department functionaries. Okay, so the spreading the information is kind of thing that needs to be streamlined. So whatever things happening in the institute, whatever information is coming, so we just pass on through the students, because we are the ones who are the closest to the new entrants. So this is what is the basically ISCP. And yeah, it was I would say a bit difficult task, since it was online, and we were trained for the offline thing, but suddenly things happened for online. So yes, it was difficult for us as well.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so I think the way in which ISAP is helping students, and the way you are leading your department in terms of ISAP, so definitely first year MTechs, they have a hand holding, and they know whom to contact, whom should be your primary contact when you rush into some problem, or when we get some issues. So definitely that is quite unique initiative.
Yes,
Yes.
right. And this POR also really not say too much, but yeah, it was it really helped me in my HR interview.
Yeah.
HR asked me about what did I do in my lockdown period.
Yes.
So I told her about the ISCP, that I had joined the ISCP and I am working for the betterment of the new entrants.
Yes.
So, and since it is a lockdown period, everyone is in panic, and no one knows that how the online semester is going to be, what are the pros and cons that are going to be. So yes, so we had to deal with the students in the most delicate way that could be. So in this way, I told her this answer, and she was quite impressed with that.
Yes.
So in that sense, we can say yes, this PR helped me a bit, and also it helped me to I got to know how to manage the things, how to deal with the senior people, how to deal with the people who are sitting at the top. So yes, I learned a lot by being at this position.
Definitely. Yes, actually. So I must say, like your master's is a 2 year program, right?
Yes.
And you have achieved, a hell lot of things in these 2 years only.
Absolutely. It
You
was like
utilize your summer. You have done, quite a few courses in the domain which you have been targeting, the POR which you have handled. So I must say you have been very busy throughout your MTech.
yeah, somewhat busy, but yeah, thanks for that.
Yes, actually. Yeah. Yes, Akshay. So, anything you want to add in this interview part before we wrap up?
Okay, so yeah, I would like to give some of the small pieces of advice, I would say, to the to the people who are watching this video. Like you should always be trying to head towards the preparation. It's not like you can do it in 2 days or 3 days. So you have to be consistent in the preparation. So start as early as possible whenever you get the time. And also there are tests conducted by the department, like for the incentive points. So just don't do it for the incentive point and do some cheating and something like that, but give it in the best way possible, because it's there to enhance your knowledge that you have. Okay, so please give it, and don't care of the result, but learn from it. Whatever problems you have faced in that test, you can just review that and learn from those mistakes. And Apart from that, the resume making is very, very important. Do give it a good amount of time, since it is the image of yourself that is going to be in the hand of a recruiter. So do prepare it in the best way possible. And the fourth and the last thing is written test. Your first focus should be cracking the written test, because I have seen many people, they have lost their dream companies just because they couldn't clear the written test, or they were not shortlisted. Instead, they were in the wait list. So wait list is a kind of thing which is quite annoying, and because there's a frustration that, oh, I could be there in the short list, but I am in the wait list, and there is a kind of dilemma whether company will call me or not.
Yes.
So it's very, very important to crack the written test. So first focus should be on the written test and crack as many as possible, because the competition is really, really very high, because everyone is IITian here.
Yes.
So we cannot underestimate anyone. So yeah.
Yes, Akshay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the way you have summarized the points which one should keep in mind while appearing for placement, so those things will definitely come handy. And they can also, the students, they can also learn from your experience, like the way in which you utilized your entire 4 semesters, your 2 years journey, and you could achieve on a lot of fronts, be it academic, professional, everything you have done. So that also shows, and you also have a decent CPI. So yes, so they can learn from your experience, definitely.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the compliment.
Yes, Akshay. So yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you for taking out time. And despite it's a holy, we assembled for the recording, and we could finish the recording. So
Yeah, and I again thank you for the initiative that you have taken. It's really commendable. It will really help a lot. Thanks a lot.
yes, Akshay. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.